it's Liz Yuille from Old Staples Crafts. Thank you for joining me again for another Simple Stamping Saturday. It's one of my favourite days of the week. So today I am concentrating on some designer series paper more than anything. It's sale-a-bration, so we're using sale-a-bration items, and I'm using the Golden Honey Specialty Designer Series paper. Let me grab this for you. So we have got all sorts of foiled papers that are foiled on one side, plain on the other. So we've got lots of honeybees. This goes with the honeybee stamp set from the mini catalogue, but it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I am getting through it like nobody's business. And the black and white images, if you want, of course, you can colour. But it's up to you whether you want to colour them or use them as they are. So let me just tuck that lot away, and then I will get started on the card and show you how I've made it. Ooh, and throw it on the floor. It got caught on the back of my designer series paper packet. So this is the card that I have made, and of course no naked envelopes. So I've covered the back flap with some of the designer series paper, and it's the paper that I used to cut this bee. And I've just got the honeycomb, the reverse of the honeycomb, and just one little bee, and I fussy cut these. Now I have used a stamp from the stamp set. There are a number of stamps. It's the only stamp I've used from the stamp set. I'm basically using it just to cut down on the number of supplies, but obviously you could use a sentiment from any stamp set you happen to have. But I thought the hello was rather sweet, bearing in mind we've got two bees saying hello to each other. Right, okay, so let me show you how I've made it. I have done a little bit of a Blue Peter on some of it, purely because it does otherwise take rather a lot of time. So note card and envelope, and I've already cut my piece of designer series paper, and as ever the measurements will be on my website, and there's a link to that immediately below in the description bar. And of course do remember while you're watching that the bottom right hand corner is where you can subscribe. I'm getting quite close to the 8,000 subscriber mark, which is a goal that I've got. So it would be fantastic if you felt you could make the numbers even better. So I'm just going to choose one of the bees to fussy cut, one of the large bees, and I'm just going to take this one here. And then we will be using the paper again for the envelope. So I won't put it too far away. Right, now fussy cutting. I do have still some people saying that they find it really difficult to fussy cut, so I'm going to show again how I fussy cut. The key is in keeping your scissors in one place. Don't do all this malarkey. Move the card, not the scissors. So all you're going to do with the scissors is open and close them. Now, I'm not going to go into minutiae detail on this fussy cut. I could, if I wanted to, cut the antenna separately, but there comes a point at which life does get a little too short, so I'm not going to, but you could. Now, if you've got the dies, obviously I would suggest that you die cut these, but on the basis that this is a simple stampers project, I am not using the dies for this particular card. I'm just going to use a good old pair of scissors, and it's really not difficult. What I would suggest you do if you're struggling is get pictures from a magazine that's got reasonable quality paper, but one that you're not too worried about, and practice, because that's, as ever, practice makes perfect, and a little bit of practice and you will be away, and then you can fussy cut everything you want, and it doesn't have to take that long. I mean, I'm doing this slowly. I'm doing it deliberately slowly so that you can see what I'm doing. But, you know, it's quite easy just to speed the process up a bit if you want to get through quicker. And once you've practiced, speeding up actually is quite easy to add on as the next thing. Now I have fussy cut this already because I thought fussy cutting 2 things might be 1 thing too many. I've got a strip from the reverse of the same B paper, and that I'm going to add to my designer series paper just with some snail. So I'm going to have it so that it's sort of the right length against the designer series paper, and then I can just add a piece of snail that's about the right length, except of course I've added it to the wrong side. Hey-ho! Right, okay, the best laid plans. It's going to be one of those days. Let's see, that's not going to be long enough. That will be though. So let me just chomp another piece out. I thought my brain had started catching up with me, but clearly it's not. Okay, so I'm just going to use my mini trimmer just to trim this down, and all I'm going to do is trim it down to an arbitrary strip. I'm looking at the pattern more than the width because I want the pattern to be reasonably symmetrical. I need it a little smaller. It's the OCD kicking in again. That's almost straight. It'll do. It'll do. I'll get over it. I will. Okay. Right. Putting the adhesive on the reverse side of your paper and moving your grid paper so that it's actually in the right place. Always good. So pop some snail on the back and then line your designer series paper up with your grid paper or something else with lines on. And what you want is, I mean, you could do it on lined note paper because you just want to be able to make sure that you are adding your strip so that it is square, as in straight. It does help that there's a pattern, but I wouldn't just rely on the pattern. I would try and line it up on something straight. Okay, so that's that. All we need to do now is pop this onto the front of our note card. And I will fold the note card before I actually stick it on, simply so that I know that I've got everything lined up straight. And just grab my bone folder, which is hiding. So give it a good crease and then pop your designer series paper so that it is square to the card, like that. And then, strangely, for a simple stamping project, I am allowing myself some dimensionals. I don't often, but on the basis that you don't really need a stamp set, I am going to add dimensionals. And do remember that with a £45 order, you can get the paper for free. So if you've always wanted to have a go at papercraft and you've just been kind of lurking in the background up until now, thinking, shall I, shan't I, sale-a-bration is a brilliant time to have a go. A, because you can get free product when you spend £45 or more in my online store, or B, if there's quite a long shopping list that you've got and you're going to go for the plunge, you can join my team. And for £99, including postage, so no additional postage, you get to choose £130 of product, and you also get, let me just pop some snail on here, you also get any stamp set that is not a host set or a sale-a-bration set, plus the mini trimmer that I've just used, plus a sample of the designer series paper, or some of the designer series papers from the mini catalogue and the sale-a-bration catalogue. So it is a fantastic time to join. And there's no obligation. If you decide it's not for you, you just stop buying and you stop being a demonstrator. Simple as that. So I'm just going to pop this onto my envelope. having lined it up, and I'll just give it a good old press, and then just, ooh, long scissors, those are the gluey scissors, so I'm just going to trim this roughly at first, and then I'll do a proper job. So yes, so if you want to take the plunge into papercraft, you can get an amazing starter kit, and then you get a discount for as long as you remain active, and you would remain active until at least the end of July. So you can get lots and lots of product with a 20% discount, which is just fantastic. And there's a link for joining both on the video below the in the description bar and also on my website. So do have a look at that. And it's got all the details of what the offer is during sale-a-bration. And you can do that if you're in Europe as well. So that's the envelope at the outside of the card. So the only thing we need to do now is to pop the sentiment on the inside of my card. So I'm going to use the hello again and just line that up to the middle, hold it down for a wee while so that there's a chance for the ink to actually get onto the paper. Doing a quick bounce up and down is not really how you want to do it. Okay, so I just need to give that another press because it's wanting to open. So there we go. There are our two simple stamping cards. In this case, simple paper cards. Then I've got this card, which is my casual version. So I've again fussy cut. I've used the stamp set, and I've used crushed curry for the beehive and just fussy cut that on the basis that most casual crafters haven't got quite to the point where they've invested in a big shot or other die cutter. And I have popped it up, and I've used the black dimensionals for that. Just added some black satin ribbon from the annual catalogue, and I'm sure you can see the similarity between the two. And then I've stamped some bees in the bottom corner of the card. So that's my casual version. And then my avid version is this, which has a heat embossed on vellum beehive, a gold foil bee, and I've used some of the same paper, so some of the beehives here I've put behind the body of the die cut bee, and then this is in vellum, just with a bit of wink of Stella over the top. And I don't know if you can see, you can, I die cut lots of the honeycomb and stuck it all together before spraying it with a spritzer. I just filled my spritzer with rubbing alcohol, and it's the 70% rubbing alcohol with some of the champagne mist. Yes, champagne mist that was in, well, it's in the annual catalogue. So I added some of that, and you get this lovely sort of shadow honeycomb, which you can just, I think, see. So yes, so that's my avid. Using the alcohol, you don't have to use alcohol, but it does mean that the card is less likely to buckle because the alcohol will evaporate quicker. So those are my 3 projects. So I hope you enjoy that. Do have a go, and obviously you can use other papers if you don't like the honeybee, but why wouldn't you like the honeybee? Oh, and yes, this is the Christmas Time is Here gold ribbon, which is still available. So if you want some of that, it's the 1/4 inch shimmer ribbon. I will link all of the items that I've used in the order in which I have used them. So it'll be beginner, casual, avid. I will list both the stamp set and the bundle at the beginning of the listing, but other than that, everything will be the order in which I've used them. So thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Do remember to subscribe. If you've got any questions or comments, do leave those below. If you are in the UK and would like to shop with me, I would be thrilled. I have a great customer reward program, so particularly if you use the host code, which is in the information below, then you get to get some free product. So you get a thank you card, thank you gift, and if you use the host code, you get free product, and you get reward vouchers as well, which you can save up and use later. Thank you very much indeed for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Have a great weekend.